Hello, my name is Lacey and welcome back to the Eigo Love YouTube channel. I'm your English teacher for today, and today we are going to be covering more baking vocabulary because this is baking 2. So if you're ready, let's go ahead and get started. First, we have flour. Flour is a powder that is made from grinding grain, usually wheat, to make bread, cakes, etc. So, I prefer to use whole wheat flour for my recipes. Next, we have cornstarch. Cornstarch is finely ground maize flour used as a thickener in cooking. So, I need to go to the store to buy some cornstarch. Personally, I love to use cornstarch inside of my cookie recipes. Next is baking soda. Baking soda is one type of powder that is used to help goods rise or get higher to make them thicker. Another type of powder we have for this is baking powder. Baking powder is the same type of product. However, they're slightly different in how they're used. So be careful not to mix them up. This recipe calls for baking powder. This recipe calls for baking soda. Baking soda can actually be used inside of toothpaste as well, but baking powder is not. Next, we have yeast. Yeast is a product that contains yeast fungi in a moist or dry way to help goods, again, rise. Yeast is often used in breads. Next, we have shortening. Shortening is a type of fat that is used inside of cooking instead of butter. This recipe calls for shortening, or I like to use shortening in my pie crusts. And lastly, we have the word extract. For example, vanilla extract or maple extract. Extract is a liquid that comes from another product. So vanilla extract is a vanilla liquid. Maple extract is a maple liquid. For example, many cookie recipes often call for vanilla extract. Now, moving on, we are going to cover common verbs that are used in baking. Number 1 is measure, to measure. To measure something means to find or determine the size, the amount, or the degree of something. For example, measure the flour. I've measured and set out the ingredients for today's recipe. That's one that you'll almost always read. Measure the flour. Next is beat. To beat is a very rough mixing of ingredients using a wooden spoon, an electric whisk, a food mixer, or a food processor. It's very, very rough. So for example, beat the eggs. Beat the eggs. Beat the egg whites until stiff. Next, we have weigh. To weigh is similar to measure, and it's to find or determine the weight or how heavy something is. So, weigh your dough or weigh your ingredients. Weighing is more precise than measuring, so it's better for baking. Next, we have scoop. To scoop means to pick up something and move it, typically using a scooper. For example, scoop the cookie dough or scoop the ice cream. Scoop the ice cream into the cups. Next, we have shape. To shape something means to form it into a specific shape, like a circle or a square, or to even roll it. shape the cinnamon rolls into a circle. For today's recipe, we're going to shape our bread into little bears. Next, we have chill. To chill means to cool. So, typically, we put it in the refrigerator or in the freezer. Chill the dough. Chill the dough in the fridge for 5 minutes, for example. And lastly, we have the word adjust. Adjust means to change. So adjust your baking time. Change your baking time. It's the same. I've adjusted the recipe for twice as many people. So the first tool that we are going to start off with, and I've brought some of my tools here with me, is a rolling pin. This is a rolling pin, and rolling pins are used to flatten out pastries. So you roll out the dough. Next, we have hand mixer. When we have the word mixer, it means something we use to mix. Hand mixer is a mixer, something we use to mix, that we hold in our hand. So this is a hand mixer. We use this to mix. We use it to mix our ingredients. So use your hand mixer to blend the ingredients, or use your hand mixer to mix the ingredients together. The other version of this is stand mixer. So stand mixers are something that you do not hold. They go on the table or on the counter and they stay. You press a button and it mixes everything together. I really want a stand mixer because they are much faster and easier and convenient. I have a rubber spatula. It's made from rubber and the shape is a spatula and it's flat. We use this to help mix things together or to scrape down the sides of our mixing bowl. So, using your rubber spatula, scrape the sides of the mixing bowl. This is something we read a lot in cookie recipes. Next, we have piping bag. We use piping bags when we are icing cakes or cupcakes. They are the special bags just for icing. If you want to make cupcakes, you need piping bags. Fill your piping bag with your icing. With your piping bag, you need a piping tip. Piping tips are what you put in the bottom of your piping bag. They are the very end and they are made from metal. They have special shapes so that you can create different shapes and designs with your icing. Next, we have pastry brush. This is a pastry brush. It's a brush used for cooking. Don't use this for your hair. This is used to brush things on your desserts or your pastries. I use this a lot for Thanksgiving when I'm making pies like crazy. And another important tool is parchment paper. This is actually in Japanese because I live in Japan, but parchment paper is the paper that we use on our pans. We can use this for cakes or for cookies, just like this picture. Line your pan with parchment papers before putting the cookies on. And last but not least is pastry blender. Again, I don't have one in Japan, but I do in the US. Pastry blenders are the tool that we use to mix flour and butter together. We use it to cut in the flour and butter. It's a tool with lots of wires that we press and press and press until the butter and the flour is mixed perfectly together. So cut the flour into the butter using a pastry blender. Awesome job today, guys. These are all of the tools and all of the vocabulary that you will need when reading English baking recipes. There might be a few special ones here or there that we didn't cover today, but you're ready to go and read English recipes. So if you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and watch some of our other videos. Can't wait to see you till next time. Bye!